Good evening, and welcome in. I'm Denz Aruna, and we are live on July 23rd, and today handed us two big stories right out of the gate. Boston's historic 15-game win streak is over, killed in the nightcap of a doubleheader at Fenway. And half a world away, in Glasgow, the 2026 Commonwealth Games are officially open for business. We've got a packed rundown tonight, so let's get straight into it. Now let's get into the meat of yesterday's drama, because while the streak is dead, the story from Fenway is actually two stories in one day. Game 1 of that doubleheader, Boston wins 6-3. They tie the 1946 club record with 15 straight. Jarren Duran, Caleb Durbin doing the heavy lifting. And then comes the nightcap, and Baltimore finally says enough. The Orioles snap it with a 5-1 win. Kyle Bradish on the mound. But here's what I want everyone to sit with. 15 wins in a row is the longest streak in the majors since the Cardinals ran off 17 in September 2021. And this Boston team started it on July 3rd. Before we hit the break, two quick ones that matter. First, Minnesota. Napheesa Collier walks back onto an NBA floor for the first time since tearing 3 ligaments in the playoffs last September. And she does not ease in. 24 points, 10 rebounds in just 24 minutes. Lynx win 86-76 in Seattle and go into the All-Star break at 22-6, best record in the league. And in baseball, Dodgers fans got the update they needed. Shohei Ohtani threw roughly 30 pitches off a mound in Philly. First time on a mound since his left knee was drained and treated over the All-Star break. Pitching coach Mark Prior said it looked good, but Dave Roberts is still not giving a timetable. So we're watching and waiting on that one. Coming up after the break, I'm pulling up the tape on that Fenway doubleheader because the story of how Baltimore finally stopped Boston is actually a pitching matchup story, a bullpen depth story, and a lineup construction story all rolled into one afternoon. We've also got Glasgow 2026 Day 1 underway right now. The opening ceremony fired at the Hydro tonight. First time the games have ever officially opened indoors. And competition is already live, with bowls and parabowls on the floor this morning. Don't go anywhere. All right. The tape. Everyone wants to talk about the streak ending, but I want to talk about how it ended, because the answer is Kyle Bradish and a first inning that Boston simply had no answer for. Per the AP, Bradish went 6 innings of 1-run ball. That's a guy with a 3.61 ERA on the season doing exactly what his extension money says he should do. And critically, per NBC Sports Boston, Baltimore scored 4 runs in the very first inning, forcing Boston to chase the whole night. The Red Sox were limited to 5 hits total, their only run coming in the 4th, when Masataka Yoshida singled home Wilson Contreras. And a wild pitch from reliever Giovanni Moran in the 7th actually extended the lead to 4. This wasn't a close game that slipped away. Boston's offense, which had been relentless for 15 days straight, was held in a box from pitch 1. Now, let's zoom out and put this in context, because after last night's doubleheader, the AL East wildcard picture looks genuinely dangerous. Per Yahoo Sports breakdown ahead of the series, Boston came in at 50-48, Baltimore right behind them at 49-51, just one game separating them. And now the Orioles have punched through. Sports Brackets had Boston sitting 3rd in the AL wildcard at 51-48 as of July 21st, with the Rays leading the division at 57-42 and the Yankees ahead in the wildcard pack. So the Red Sox margin for error just got a lot thinner, and the team that handed them the L is now breathing directly on their neck. All right, let's shift gears, because tonight isn't just about baseball standings. It's about something a lot bigger happening right now in Scotland. Glasgow 2026 is live. The opening ceremony is tonight at the OVO Hydro, 8 p.m. local. And per Wikipedia and Olympics.com, that's over 3,000 athletes from 74 nations marching in. and history being made, because this is literally the first Commonwealth Games opening ceremony ever staged entirely inside an arena. The headline act is KT Tunstall, Scottish icon, coming home, and the preliminary bowls and parabowls rounds have already been underway on the floor since this morning. So Glasgow is already competing before the ceremony even fires. Medal events don't officially begin until Friday, but the games are breathing. All right, before we close out around the grounds, Formula One is in Budapest this weekend, and it is a genuinely spicy championship situation. Per ESPN and Planet F1, Kimi Antonelli arrives at the Hungaroring with a 45-point championship lead after his 6th win of the season at Spa. But his Mercedes teammate George Russell crashed out on lap 1 in Belgium. And per motorsport.com, the theme of Russell's 2026 campaign has basically been 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And then you've got the WNBA All-Star Weekend firing up tomorrow in Chicago. Per WNBA.com, Hall of Famers Cynthia Cooper and Teresa Weatherspoon are serving as GMs for Team Coop versus Team Spoon, with Paige Buchers and Caitlin Clark as their anchor players. And the All-Star Game tips off Saturday night at the United Center. That is a packed 48 hours in sport.